We're tracking a storm that's moving through Texas on Tuesday night into Wednesday, and that's going to really bring some severe weather across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama as we head into Wednesday. You know, just because you're not here doesn't mean you're going to escape the strong, impactful weather over the next couple of days. This strong low will get even stronger as it moves toward the Great Lakes. More severe weather as we head into Thursday across the southeast, and I'll tell you, a place that I think there's some concern would be right here in Ohio as this lifts off to the north and east. We're going to show you that in just a moment. But look how big this system's going to be. A huge area of low pressure moving toward the Great Lakes. A lot of wind around this system too, so a big weather maker for the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the future radar. You can see where you live and how the precipitation is going to impact you. We're definitely dealing with rain showers across the mid-Atlantic and really the big storms here across the south from Texas over to Arkansas and Louisiana. This is where the severe weather will be over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then you can almost see that spin in the atmosphere as that low moves off to the north and east, just pushing more moisture into the Ohio Valley, into the mid-Atlantic, and all that moves into the northeast as we head closer to the weekend. Now let's talk about the severe weather risk. I'm just going to tell you, anywhere here in the south, I think you're fair game for some strong to severe thunderstorms, maybe even some hail, tornadoes, definitely likely now across parts of the deep south. And especially here in this area, we now have a moderate risk for severe thunderstorms. That's a 4 on a scale of 5. I do want to point out the significant tornado threat tomorrow across the deep south and right along the Gulf Coast. And look, I say watch the Tennessee Valley too, all the way up to Nashville. This is not a zero threat here across northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, up to Nashville even. It's just a little lower. It's just off the charts here across the deep south from New Orleans up to Baton Rouge, over to Jackson, Mississippi, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and then further east over into Alabama, places like Montgomery. You got to watch these storms as they push off to the east tomorrow for that tornado threat. Definitely a high wind risk also hashed out here for significant severe and a really high area here. And that's pretty much the same areas where we have that tornado risk heading into tomorrow. We're not done with the severe weather on Wednesday. This is Thursday's outlook. And again, I say watch this area up here into Ohio. Also, look how that threat now pushing further north into North Carolina. I've been talking about that since really 2 days now, and I think that is something to be concerned about. Strong damaging winds, large hail, even a few isolated tornadoes. Let's talk about the significant tornado parameter. Then we're going to look at the future radar in this area. Anything over a 1 is concerning when you get those ripe conditions for tornadoes, and then you see the thunderstorms move through. Southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi will have the highest risk. Again, we're not at a zero risk, even as far north as Memphis, up into parts of Tennessee, northern parts of these states too, up to Starkville, Jackson, over to Birmingham. I think it's going to start to settle down some, but I would definitely keep an eye on it from Tuscaloosa over to Birmingham and then all the way into northern Alabama. And look, watch these storms as they push into the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley Thursday afternoon, because you can see there's plenty of rotation in the atmosphere. So if we get enough updraft, enough vertical motion, we could see a few tornadoes, I think, especially as these stronger storms push into this region. Here's a look at the future radar. We're going to time things out for you as we move into tomorrow afternoon. We're watching this line moving through Louisiana, also Mississippi. The thing to keep an eye out for will be the supercells, those strong thunderstorms that form on their own out ahead of any lines that start to form. So as we head into Wednesday evening, we'll be looking into Mississippi, Alabama, and I think you also have to watch some of these storms back into Arkansas, moving up into Tennessee too, as everything pinwheels around that low. Now as we move into early Thursday morning, overnight, things probably will calm down some. And I think that's why the risk is probably a little bit lower for eastern parts of Alabama and parts of Georgia. But I don't think it's a zero threat. Certainly the nighttime helps, but look, this is a pretty strong, potent system. So I think you have to watch for severe weather from Georgia all the way up into the Carolinas. You saw that risk. It really is pretty much all of these areas. And now you're seeing those stronger storms move into the Ohio Valley. So from Dayton, Indianapolis, down to Lexington. Watch these storms heading into Thursday afternoon. There's going to be a lot of wind shear here with our upper low spinning, a lot of change of wind direction with height. So tornadoes, I think, would be something to keep an eye on. It's something I'll be watching over the next couple of days. And this storm is not done. It's not just going to be the severe. It's going to be the wind and the rain that's going to last all the way through Friday into Saturday for the Northeast. Look at the wind, because I think that's going to be a huge story. Even outside of the severe thunderstorms and the tornado threat, these are wind gusts that are low. You can see it spinning toward the Great Lakes, over 40, some cases 50 miles per hour, and now our winds are coming in out of the northwest. They could be really gusty. I mean, look at these gusts up into Michigan, over 50 miles per hour as we head into Friday, and then into Saturday, things finally start to calm down some. Again, that cold air starts to move out as we head into next week. We're watching this storm already. The next one is lining up, moving into the Four Corner states and then opening up into the Plain states. The Storm Prediction Center already looking way ahead in time, marking this area here from Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas for next Monday. Something to keep an eye on as far as the severe weather goes. So here are your temperatures heading into Wednesday afternoon. Definitely milder across the Northeast. 60s and some 70s, trying to push to places like Philadelphia, all the way up into Michigan, Wisconsin. And then as we head into Thursday, some of that colder air starting to be seen here back across the northern plains. You can see 40s and 50s back towards Iowa, Wisconsin, and you can see some of that cooler air also wrapping into the Ohio Valley and then eventually into the Northeast as we move into Friday. So Friday morning, you'll definitely notice that chill from, say, the Great Lakes all the way down into the Appalachians, with temperatures Friday in many of these areas struggling to get out of the 40s, maybe even some 30s across the UP of Michigan and northern Michigan, maybe even parts of Pennsylvania too. Temperatures in some places may actually drop during the day on Friday. And then as we head into Saturday, look at the warmth off to the southwest. You can start to see that building now. We've got 70s and 80s blossoming from Missouri all the way down into Mississippi, Alabama, and the Northeast still cold though. How about 30s and 40s? Another cold day, but I think this will be the last hurrah. How about this? Sunday, we see the temperatures really warming up. Look at all of the 80s now back here and across the South. We're pushing close to 80 for places like Raleigh, and then finally as we head into Monday, how about 80 all the way to D.C.? I think the Jersey Shore all the way down to the Delmarva, close to 80. Even New York City, mid-70s, up to Hartford, Boston, close to 70. And the warmth continues, I think, into next week. So this is Tuesday. Now going into Wednesday, my goodness, do my eyes deceive me? Close to 80 for Boston to Providence to Hartford to Albany to New York. Even places like Watertown and Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, upper 70s, back into Ohio, Detroit mid-70s. How about mid-60s for central Michigan? Almost 70 anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and argue close to 90 for parts of Florida. That sun definitely getting stronger. Now, while we won't see a huge cool down after this heat wave, if you will, temperatures do start to drop back some as we head into next week. Some cooler air trying to work in. But we're getting late into April, so I don't think it's going to last too long. Temperatures across the central United States taking a dive. You can see that cold air here across the northern plains heading into Friday, but here comes the rebound heading into the weekend, especially as we move into Sunday. Mid to upper 80s from Kansas down to Oklahoma and Texas. I think we're into the 90s in some of these areas, and arguably maybe even so into parts of southern Nebraska and Kansas. Look at these numbers heading into Sunday evening. We're showing 90s here across parts of Kansas, up into Missouri, at least very close to that, if not mid-90s across Texas. And then as we head into Monday, still another warm day. I don't think it's going to be quite as hot. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Sunday's going to be hot in some of these areas. A little bit of a cool down on the way for the northern plains and even the central plains as we move toward the middle part of next week. All right, if you like this stuff, I don't think I have to ask, but I'm going to ask. Subscribe to the channel. It helps out a whole lot. I appreciate all of you who have done so. I will catch you next time.